Hey everyone, it's Monday at Gazovitz. Culture is only one thing. It's Europe Day. Every Monday at Gazovitz we have a look at the weather for the coming week across the continent. Today is no exception. Going to have some really hot weather again across many western and eventually central eastern parts of Europe through the course of this week. Baking hot air is already pushing out of North Africa into Spain and France. That's going to spread across many parts of Europe through this week. The far northwest will again be just on the periphery of this through the UK and Ireland. Parts of Scandinavia as well, tending to miss out, but many places having more dangerous levels of heat really through the course of this week. Well, very good on that. Just say about the ads. There's links to articles on the pages. Gazovitz.com have browser widgets. If there's any articles that you're interested in, please click through. You'll be able to go off and read the article. And thanks very much for doing that. So here's today's synoptic pressure chart. And the main issue, or the main thing really, is the heat coming out of North Africa. We've got this ridge here in the east of Europe. And it's drawing up very hot air out of North Africa into Spain, into France as well. Many parts of Europe actually having a lot of settled weather today with high pressure. Got this deep trough out to west of Ireland. Very deep area of low pressure air, which will bring some summer gales in towards the Republic of Ireland. Can you believe? Here's the upper air temperatures, and you can see that it's still a relatively cool scene over Scandinavia, and it's fairly cool across the UK and Ireland as well. We've got some warmer weather just at the moment in the east of the UK. That will be getting pushed out of the way later on. But it's really through Spain into France that the heat is really on today. Very hot upper air temperatures coming out of North Africa and pushing into those western, southwestern parts of Europe. Really warm, if not hot scene, for many parts of Europe actually today. Lots of dry weather as well. We've got heavy rain around Ireland and some rain or showers for Scotland. That's associated with this low pressure sitting to the west of Ireland. A few showers over the Balkans and down in towards Greece. But other than that, lots of dry weather. Maybe a storm over the Pyrenees and the Alps, as you often find. But really a lot of dry weather coming up today through many parts of Europe. Till we go up to the far north of Scandinavia and western parts of Russia where it remains pretty cool and showery. Here are the temperatures today, and as you can see, for many central parts of Europe, it is a hot day already, with temperatures up to 31, 32, 33 degrees, going into the 90s Fahrenheit. But the heat is really in the southeast Europe, so over the Balkans in towards Greece, where temperatures are approaching 38, that's 100 Fahrenheit. And again through France, you're going down into Spain. So many parts of France today will be up at around 36, 37, 38 degrees. That's going up to 100 Fahrenheit. We go over Pyrenees into Spain. It gets even hotter. So central Spain up to 40 degrees, 105 Fahrenheit. Dangerously hot today. Moving through into the middle part of the week, and we find again this ridge through central parts of Europe with the heat pumping up from North Africa into many parts of Europe. Again, the far northwest into the UK and Ireland. It's a cooler, more unsettled scene there, and that does extend up in towards parts of Scandinavia, particularly Norway as well. Upper air temperatures show intense heat across Spain, that extends through much of France and goes off in towards southern parts of Europe. All of the Mediterranean is going to be very hot, and it extends up in towards the east of Europe as well. Cooler out in the northwest, close to those areas of low pressure once more. Loads of dry weather through the middle part of the week, so from Portugal and Spain, over in the west of the Med, right the way through towards Greece. A lot of dry weather, a few thunderstorms scattered about, particularly through Italy, maybe one or two through Greece, but loads and loads of dry weather through the Med. And going across many parts of Europe, it is dry until we come up to Scandinavia. We'll have showers or longer spells of rain threatening around the Baltic and going in towards Norway in particular, and then coming down into the UK and Ireland, you see very wet conditions possible for Northern Ireland and Scotland there. And the temperatures through into the middle part of the week, that first burst of heat that we've got today around Spain and Portugal is going around Spain and France, I should say, is going off in towards the east of Europe. So it's spread through Central Europe. It's going into the east with temperatures, again, through many parts of Poland, Ukraine, for example, going up to 34, 35, 36 degrees into the mid to upper 90s Fahrenheit. Very warm, if not hot, though, through most parts of Europe, Germany, at around 30, that's 86. Much of France still into the 90s Fahrenheit at around 32 or 33 degrees, and 37 degrees across southern parts of France is 100 Fahrenheit. Go down into Spain, it's dangerously hot once again, as it is throughout the bulk of the Mediterranean. At the end of the week, we've got a lot of uncertainty beginning to creep in relation to the northwest of Europe, because we could start to generate, with all this heat over the continent, we could start to generate some sort of a thundery area of low pressure here across particularly France, maybe going up into the United Kingdom. So we've got to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure about it. It is what Molly's showing when I'm doing the update on Sunday evening, but this could change in later runs. In any case, many parts of Europe will still be very hot and dry at the end of the week. Look at this heat extending into Central Europe on Friday. The 20 Celsius iceberg there is covering just about all of Central Eastern France, and it's going up, can you believe, in towards Germany, almost as far north as Denmark. That is an incredible heat wave there, pushing northwards through many central parts of Europe at the end of the week. Dangerous heat through many parts of Europe. It's time to push up into Scandinavia, but in the UK and Ireland, as ever, on the periphery, are remaining cooler there. So, loads of dry weather again at the end of the week from Spain and Portugal in the west, going up towards western parts of Russia. Hardly any rain to speak of, a few storms over the Alps, one or two around Italy, and maybe the odd rogue storm going over the Adriatic in towards the southeast of Europe. But to be honest, you're clutching at straws to try and find much rain across the bulk of the continent this week. Still some showers or thunderstorms central northern parts of Scandinavia, and the greatest risk of rain, probably in the form of thunderstorms, is across northern parts of France and going in towards the United Kingdom. Could be some thunderstorms in those areas. Maybe some storms triggered by the heat over Denmark as well. Here's a convective potential at the end of the week. This looks far more dramatic than it is. As we've already seen, most of this convective potential will not be realised because the air is too dry. It's just really across northern France, the Low Countries, UK, possibly into Denmark, where we will have risk of lightning and thunder. Look at these temperatures. If you're in Germany or Poland at the end of the week, you could well be seeing temperatures up to 37, 38, 39 degrees, going over 100 Fahrenheit. Wouldn't rule out getting up to 40 degrees, 105 Fahrenheit in one or two central parts of Europe. Intensely hot there, as it is through most parts of Europe. I think this is potentially the hottest week of the summer coming up, or the hottest spell of the summer coming up at the end of this week. Comparatively cool for the UK and Ireland, as is most of Scandinavia once again. Although southern parts of Scandinavia, the heat will be starting to get in there. Moving through to next weekend very quickly, low pressure's trying to come in off the Atlantic to keep the unsettled theme going in the north and the west, but still high pressure bridging through many parts of Europe next weekend. This is with a great deal of uncertainty. That intense heat wave is being pushed into the east and the northeast of Europe by next weekend as cooler air starts to dig in to central western parts of Europe from the Atlantic. Notice though, still incredibly hot down across Spain, whilst that heat remains. If things set up okay, you could get another push of that intense heat at any point really through the next 2 or 3 weeks. Again, loads of dry weather. There could be a band of thunderstorms here across Germany and going down into the Alps and Italy. That is the dividing line between the intense heat that's being pushed further to the east and the northeast and this cooler air coming in from the west. So those storms there could be notable, that line of storms. It is a cold front. But once that clears, lots of dry weather until we come back into Norway, United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, same areas that's been all summer, but it will be cooler and more unsettled with some showers and longer spells of rain. There's the heat being pushed eastwards. This could break records in the northeast of Europe. We could well find record-breaking heat going through into places like Ukraine and going northwards into places like Estonia, Latvia. I wouldn't be too surprised to see records falling next weekend in those regions. Conversely, it is turning cooler in central and western parts of Europe. As we know, there's a cold front, maybe some thunderstorms dividing that heat to this cooler weather out in the west. Still relatively warm, but certainly a lot cooler compared to that extreme heat that we're going to have later on in the week. So another really interesting week coming up across Europe this week. Intensely hot for many places, starting across France and Spain today. And then it's going to spread north and east through the week. So by the middle and end of the week, the heat will be focused on Central Europe, Germany, Poland. You're really going to be baking hot in those areas by the end of the week. And then next weekend, it starts to get shoved into the east and the northeast, where it could break records as cooler and fresher air starts to dig back in from the Atlantic. Most of Scandinavia, most of the UK, where I am, and Ireland, going to miss out on this, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view. That's it for now then. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. And if you're in those hot places, stay cool. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.